I'm not cocky or arrogant that I say I'm going to win the show because nobody knows. But what I know is...
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this mind-blowing physique update from Goodvito. So he's this year's Arnold Brazil winner and without any doubt, one of the biggest and widest guy in this year's Olympia lineup. Not to mention one of the biggest wildcards in this year's Olympia lineup. Now for those of you guys who do not know, he's been coached by Chris Acito, and when he was asked what shots on Goodvito were good enough that he could have beaten even guys like the mutant Nick Walker and also Derek Lunsford at this year's Pittsburgh Pro, which unfortunately Goodvito missed because of that lat tier. The back lat spread, that was on top of that list. So this has become such an impressive shot for Goodvito. The density and the thickness, that is already there in the upper back. And then he has some of the most ripped and shredded hamstrings and glutes, and combine all that together with his amazing upper back, that becomes one of the most amazing shots for him. Now surprisingly, his back double biceps, that is one of his weakest shots, but this right here looks amazing, as he has made some tremendous progress in that shot since he turned pro. Now some of the other factors which make Goodvito such a unique bodybuilder is the quality of his muscles. The quads are some of the best in the game. Great arms, combined with those thick and very wide lats. Not to mention a very well developed midsection. Amazing vacuum. That makes him one of the biggest wildcards and probably the dark horse going into this year's Mr. Olympia. So ever since Goodvito won his pro card, almost everybody knew it is just a matter of time for him before he steps on the big stage, and that time is finally here. Now if we look at Goodvito's physique when he won his pro card about 2 years back and compare that physique to today, that just goes to show you that his ceiling could be very high, especially in the coming years, because the guy is either 27 or just 28 years old. So time is on his side. So he has a very legit chance of cracking top 10 or maybe even a lot higher than that at his first ever Mr. Olympia, which is happening in about 2.5 weeks time. Now when we talk about taking up that space on the stage, looking wider, Goodvito is a perfect example. Now he's 100% gonna be better in every single aspect compared to how he looked at this year's Arnold Brazil stage. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Next up, we have an update from Mr. Shredded, Josema Beast, looking absolutely crazy less than 3 weeks out from his second only Mr. Olympia in Classic. Now this is the point where Josema Beast has to push really hard to get down. In order to make the weight cut off, he has to drop the hammer. Now almost everybody will agree that the package that he presented at this year's New York Pro and the Pittsburgh Pro, even last year at the Olympia and Classic, that isn't the best look of his prep. He always sacrifices some size, some pop, some fullness to get down to his weight cap to make that weight cut off. Because do not forget, he's a guy who transitioned from the men's open into Classic, and he actually did pretty damn well at his men's open debut back in 2023, and that was at the Emperor Classic Spain, where he competed against Andre Presti and Michael Crizo. So he legit has to lose some solid muscle, some lean muscle tissue in order to be eligible to compete in Classic. But that being said, as far as his placings in Classic are concerned, he made the switch look very good. He won 2 shows last year back to back. He placed top 6 at the Olympia, and that too at his Olympia debut. And not to forget that him and Terrence, they were separated by merely 1 point at this year's Pittsburgh Pro. So the lack of that outer quad sweep on his legs from the front, that is what sets him behind compared to some of these other top guys who have massive quad sweeps and amazing V-tapers. But on the flip side, he has a more dense and a more complete looking back than majority of the top guys. Plus the fact that his conditioning is matched by only a few guys, that makes him a very unique threat. And we have to keep in mind, if a top guy misses, even just by a tiny bit, Josema Beast is gonna beat them all come Olympia this year based on his crazy sharpness. So the rumors of Regan Grimes doing a pre-Olympia show with his new coach, Dom Super Sliced, they were not true. Now could have been a great strategy to test out the peak week before the Olympia this year, get some data, and make improvements accordingly for the upcoming big show. But more than that, it was a great opportunity to have the earliest possible Olympia qualification for 2026. But Regan this time is coming to prove a point at the Olympia this year. So he's expecting to place somewhere from top 6 to top 8, which by the way, looking at the lineup, doesn't seem very realistic, because if we go down the list and break down who are the big names that he needs to beat in order to place that high, then it kind of seems impossible. But Regan is 100% focused to present his personal best come Olympia this year. And he's just hoping that some of these top guys, they coming off, which by the way happens almost every single year. So he's looking very flat in his most recent physique update, but looking very solid at the same time. So Regan will be among the guys with some of the best aesthetics as well as some of the most complete back on that entire Olympia stage. So he hasn't truly been 100% in any of the shows that he has done so far. Especially this year, he was very off in 2 out of the 3 shows that he did. So that really puts a big question mark on whether he can bring the condition as well as the fullness this time around at the Olympia. Because he has to make sure his chest, his shoulders, they do not look flat when he steps on the stage. Now Regan will become a legit top 6 Olympian when he adds more volume on his quads and if he can develop more quad sweep.
I'm not cocky or arrogant that I say I'm going to win the show, because nobody knows. But what I know is, if someone is able to beat me, he will deserve the title. That's for sure. But beat me first. Then we talk.
So Mike Sommerfeld puts every top classic physique guy on notice by making this statement on Cuddlercast. Now kind of interesting, he did not sound cocky or arrogant at all, but at the same time, he conveyed his message pretty damn well. So the way Mike has been looking all throughout this prep, it's gonna take something very special for all of these guys like Terrence, Ramon, in order to beat Mike. Now Chris Bumstead, he was the standard for classic physique for 6 straight years, and nobody out there pushed C-Bum as hard as Mike did last year at the Olympia. Now, maybe if C-Bum wasn't such a big name in the industry, there could have been an argument for Mike Sommerfeld winning the Olympia last year. And to think that he looks so big compared to last year, that is a scary thought for many of these classic physique competitors who are all aiming to beat Mike in 18 days' time. Now, classic physique is being perceived as a very open contest this year. As Terrence Ruffin skipped the Olympia last year, he put on so much muscle mass and so much thickness all over his physique. Ramon took the whole year off for the very first time since he came onto the scene, and he had a proper off-season. So that makes this upcoming Mr. Olympia a very exciting one, as the Olympia title that is up for grabs. But as far as Mike is concerned, he's coming in prepared, and I kind of agree with him. If anyone beats him, he deserves to win that Olympia title. But let me know what you guys think. Who has the best shot at beating Mike come Olympia this year? Also, hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.